So you've built one of the most stable strategies and you have a great product, your own website, satisfied clients, and you have your own business. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's been an exciting journey. I've been trading for many years now, over 20 years.
What does it really take for an EA enthusiast to turn his passion into business?
Yeah, I would say actually the main component is the EA itself. That's the biggest challenge. I think once you've got a good EA, everything else can you can work around it.
If a beginner is listening today, what would be the best tips you would give to them before they start putting real money on the market?
Keep it as simple as possible. So when you try to get too complex in your strategy, that's when things can go wrong.
Andreas, the developer of Market Master, one of the most robust EAs we've ever traded.
What's the main difference between manual trading and algo trading?
I think the big problem with manual trading is basically discretion and human emotions. Pretty much you can compare it to gambling.
What is actually the main difference between Market Master and the other grid systems?
It has a limited amount of recovery positions. A lot of grid martingale systems can kind of just keep adding positions until the account blows up. Of course it does happen, yeah. The difference with Market Master is there's a maximum of 4 positions, 1 initial position and then 3 recovery positions.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not an endless grid that is going to keep adding positions till the account blows up. There will be a point where it will just recover with time if it needs to.
People will always look for profitable EAs.
Yeah, so my key advice would be...
A year ago, you sent me your expert advisor for feedback, and immediately I saw the potential from the backtest. And since then, you've been listening to every piece of advice I sent you over the email. And I'm very proud of everything you've done, because a year later, here we are on the podcast, and you have a great product, your own website, satisfied clients, and you have your own business. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's been an exciting journey. I've been trading for many years now, over 20 years. I started off as a manual trader and moved to automated trading. I never really thought about, releasing an EA to the public or anything like that before. But, it's nice to share something that I've developed and, that I'm proud of. And, obviously I'm grateful for your help and everything.
Actually, once you have a good product, and in your case, you have a great EA, a stable one, robust strategy. Once you have a good product, it's easy to give it to the public, no matter if it's for free, if it's paid one. And I saw a video from one huge entrepreneur recently where he said the following: if you want to have a successful business, the number one thing is to have a good product, and that's the only thing you have to focus on. Because once you have a good product, you stop thinking about the income, you don't think about the money, you just focus on delivering a good product to the humanity. These were his words, and in this case, that's exactly what happened with you. So you've built one of the most stable strategies we trade in algo trading space. How did you do that?
Yeah, so as I said, I've got a lot of experience. It was a lot of trial and error. Obviously, I've had many failures in the past, in my earlier years. But yeah, just really learning about strategies over time and obviously what works and what doesn't work. Basically, one of the big rules I have is to keep an automated trading strategy as simple as possible. If you have too many entry and exit conditions, you can normally overfit the strategy. Yeah, so basically just really keeping it so simple. The secret to Market Master is actually there's only 2 main entry conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is just pretty much keeping it as simple as possible and being sure not to overfit the strategy.
Can you explain it for the beginners with a couple of words? What means overfitting?
Yeah, overfitting. So overfitting is basically when you build a strategy around the data.
Around the historical data.
Around the historical data, sorry, yeah. Yeah, so basically, obviously, you have the data, and if you just keep trying different approaches, of course, you're going to come up with something that does work. Like as in, you can add a condition. If it's not quite right, you can add another condition. And obviously, if you add too many conditions, then eventually the strategy will become overfit. So basically, you're fixing the strategy around the data. The problem with that is that when it comes to live trading, the strategy might not, most times it will not hold up because it hasn't seen that data before. Basically it's not made for that data.
And how do you test if the strategy was overfitted? Because what I've suggested in a couple of my videos is that once we do the backtest, let's say for the last 2 or 5, 10 years, whatever period the trader likes, once we have it on a live account, after 2-3 weeks or a month, we should just pause and say, okay, let's see if that live data, this out of sample period, actually matches the performance of the backtest. Is that how you do it, or you have some extra tricks and tips to check overfitting?
Yeah, so you do have, obviously I use in-sample and out-sample data. That's obviously very useful. Another process I use is Monte Carlo simulations. That's basically where the simulation will reorder the trades.
All right, so you use an out of sample, Monte Carlo, and you do that prior to start trading with the EA, right? You do that on the historical data.
Yeah, for sure. That's to make sure that the strategy is robust.
You know what's interesting actually for me is that we often expect great EAs from the huge vendors, right? The big websites that have been there for ages and they have dozens of EAs. And it's really interesting to see a great EA from someone who just started offering EAs to the public. And same thing was confirmed by the head of trading of IC Markets in one of my recent podcasts, because he said that the best system they have from all of the traders is coming from a homegrown developer or trader who is trading from home, and he has a very good system with low risk, and he has one of the most profitable systems from all of the traders and their records, which is great in my opinion. And that's exactly what we are looking for in algo trading space, to reach out to developers and traders like you who have the knowledge and experience and they want to share their ideas, right? While we were driving with the car here, you told me that a good strategy is actually a good idea. Is that right?
So good strategy is, I believe, comes from a combination of ideas that you've learned over, for me, over the years. So just taking something from multiple strategies and kind of making it your own, really.
That makes a lot of sense. And what is the one thing that traders should look for in an expert advisor? Is it just the profit, the drawdown, return-to-drawdown ratio? Which of these metrics you find to be most valuable and it's easy to recognize the good EA?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the return to drawdown ratio, because basically you have your risk criteria, and the return to drawdown ratio will determine how much profit you can make within that risk criteria.
Risk tolerance,
yeah.
Right? And what's the return to drawdown ratio with the market master?
So yeah, on the live track record, it's about 5-1, but that will of course increase over time. It's only been, the track record's got like a year of data, so yeah.
And you calculate the return to drawdown by dividing the total gain to the max drawdown, right? Which with the market master, I believe, is around 200%, and the drawdown is about 34 to 35%. So what is actually the main difference between market master and the other grid systems?
Yeah, so the main difference is that it has a limited amount of recovery positions. So obviously, a lot of people mention it online and stuff, that a lot of grid martingale systems can kind of just keep adding positions until the account blows up. That's obviously what everyone is concerned about with grid martingale systems.
We've seen that.
Yeah, of course it does happen, yeah. But yeah, the difference with Market Master is, so there's a maximum of 4 positions. One initial position, position and then 3 recovery positions.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not an endless grid that is going to keep adding positions till the account blows up. There will be a point where it will just recover with time if it needs to.
Okay, so if the 4 positions are added, so it's the initial and another 4.
And another 3.
Okay, so in total there are 4.
Total 4, yeah.
4, yeah. And if the 3 are added and price keeps going in the other direction, it will just wait to recover, right? No extra risk. Like historically, it didn't happen that the euro-dollar price will just keep going in the other direction, so the EA can't recover. Something interesting I can share with you, I gave your EA to some of our team who is obsessed by backtesting, right? He backtests EAs all day long, probably during the night too. And he told me, "Hey, Petko, you know, this is one of the best backtests I have seen with the Market Master." And he said, "That's honestly the EA I would love to trade myself." So did you build the Market Master with an idea, simplicity, and having this perfect backtest? Was that the goal? Or backtest came by accident from the good strategy you had in mind?
Yeah, so actually one of my techniques is to make sure that the system works well with only one position. So the difference that makes is it's not, the strategy is not relying on the grid. You know, the strategy is based around strong entry points.
Yeah.
And obviously the recovery positions just help it out where you get those certain outliers where the position doesn't reach the profit target, you know, when we would like it to, basically.
Right. Actually, we've been discussing this with my team a lot because we are testing so many EAs now. And we've noticed that the good strategies behind the EAs are easy to see if there are not too many recovery trades, right? Because any entry can work with hundreds of recovery trades, right? And I think there are 2 ways for the EA. It's either a very strong strategy with a few recovery trades or a weak strategy with a lot of recovery trades needed in order to have this good backtest. And we have the Market Master now on a few smaller live accounts, like $1,000 each, experimenting on different currency pairs, but the main one we run on a $5,000 live account. And I remember at the beginning you told me that's not needed to have so much capital. What is, according to you, the initial balance required? I put 5K just, you know, in case to have margin, because there are recovery trades, but what's the minimum if people want to trade the EA?
Yeah, so I would say the absolute minimum should be $500. Because you do need to give the strategy some time to play out. Of course, it will add recovery positions. So yeah, you don't want to run out of margin. So that's the bare minimum.
And what is your bare minimum as a trader? Because I know you have a huge experience as a manual trader as well. For the people to start trading, that's a question I always ask everybody on the podcast. What is the bare minimum people should start with?
Okay, yeah, so that's a tricky question because obviously there's various different strategies. I mean, you could start with just $100 and use a simple scalping strategy. Obviously, day trading is extremely tough. So if you want to trade a robust system, you're usually going to need a little bit of leeway to have a bit of drawdown here and there. So for more serious traders, I would say again, not absolute minimum, but the minimum should be about $500 ideally.
And actually, I started the Market Master on a 5K live account with BlackBull Markets because I arranged the institutional account for me, my team, and the subscribers to be with a minimum of $2,000 and not $20,000. That's a great opportunity to trade with EAs or manually paying institutional costs. I'll leave the link to BlackBull Markets down below in the description if you want to trade them on a demo or a live account. Andreas, let me ask you something very important for our audience, because I know many of my subscribers are still trading manually. Others are already into algo trading 100%, but because you have what, 20 years of
over 20 years
of trading manually options, you've done a lot. What's the main difference between manual trading and algo trading?
I think the big problem with manual trading is basically discretion and human emotions. So, you can have a good strategy, but when things get tough, like for example, like if a trade goes into drawdown, that's when just naturally us as humans, we start to, panic and try to override the strategy, or you might close a trade that's in drawdown through fear that it's not going to recover and stuff like that. So yeah, discretion is a big problem in manual trading, and I would say a very small amount of people I believe will succeed manual trading, unfortunately.
How did you do in your manual trading? Were you a profitable trader or not?
Yeah, so overall I was profitable manual trading, but obviously it's very difficult and there was ups and downs. But a lot of my success actually came from when Donald Trump was elected as president. That's when the US stock market really began to get even stronger than it was already. I was trading options at the time, and there was opportunities to make some good gains because it was just such a bullish market that you could buy call options, and it was pretty much, you could say it was quite easy because of how strong the stock market was. So that was a big boost for me as an independent trader, and that gave me the capital that I needed really to go on and keep trading the stock market mainly.
I also traded stocks, by the way, in the past, but it was just too distracting for me. And nowadays I pretty much look at it like an investment. So I just, buy the S&P 500 or other huge companies as a risk diversification. And I've shared that in many of my videos, that I like to have some stock investments, crypto investments, and as well the algo trading, which is the main thing we are doing here. But if a beginner is listening today, what would be the best tips you would give to them before they start putting real money on the market?
Yeah, so I would say to keep it as simple as possible. So when you try to get too complex in your strategy, that's when things can go wrong. So especially for a beginner, I would say to even start off just swing trading the stock market.
Do you mean manually trading or with expert advisors? Do you trade the stock market with EAs or just the Forex pairs?
So yeah, I actually only trade EAs with Forex pairs. I find that strategies that I've experimented with in the past don't really work so well with stock indices. So
yeah, I also figured that out a long time ago because many traders were asking for EAs suitable for stocks indices, but usually the brokers will offer too high commissions, and it's just hard to scalp. Even you have a good strategy, just the costs would exceed the profits you make with the EAs. And tell me something, what does it really take for an EA enthusiast to turn his passion into business?
Yeah, I would say actually the main component is the EA itself. That's the biggest challenge. I think once you've got a good EA, everything else you can work around it. Of course, you need to build a website. And
I'll interrupt you here because I want to make it clear to our audience that you've made everything yourself. I was just giving you some tips over the last 1 year, but you've built the website yourself, you've built the track record, you've made the live update green and checked, which is not common for most of the vendors. But I told you, if you want to prove your EA is profitable, it needs the green check. So you've done everything yourself. But as you say, once you have the good EA, it's just easy to go around and work around it. I saw that recently you have enabled one license per account for the market master, so it's more affordable to the wider audience, because people quite often they don't need 5 licenses, right? They just need one to test it. What is the feedback from the people that use your EA?
Yeah, so obviously Market Master has been around for less than a year, so relatively new EA, but the feedback that I've had so far has been very good.
Usually people are skeptical when they see a new EA, right? Me too. Like, I prefer to see a track record of a few years, but once you know how to backtest the EA, once you can perform in and out of sample, Monte Carlo that you've mentioned, we can easily recognize the good strategy behind the EA. The good return-to-drawdown ratio is also important. And is the Market Master suitable for prop firms? Because I personally haven't tested it on a prop firm. How do you see it trading on a prop firm?
Yes, it certainly can be used on a prop firm. Of course, we all know that prop firms have that strict drawdown parameters, so the daily drawdown and max drawdown. So the thing to bear in mind is, of course, that you need to make sure that you keep a low risk.
And by low risk, do you mean lower starting lot? Because with your track record, we see 34% max drawdown, right? If we want to stay within 3% drawdown, is that means that we need to go 10 times lower the risk?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, most people will be trading much bigger accounts with a prop firm than the track record. But yeah, you would need to make sure that the lot size is not too large, basically.
All right, so we can lower the risk to fit prop firm rules, but we just need to be very patient because it will take many months to pass, right? But that's actually the goal of prop firms, more and more people to fail. Now let us know, are you working on more EAs? Is the Market Master the only EA you're developing and trading, or there is more behind that?
Yes, I'm always working on new strategies with my own trading. But I do actually have a members-only EA as well, which is completely different to Market Master. And if I find something that I think people will be interested in, then I'm always open to releasing.
People are always interested in profitable EAs. So if you find some more profitable EAs, for sure. Now, I was looking at this Jeff Bezos video recently where he said, people always ask me, what will be the new thing? What will be the new passion? What will be the new hype, right? But people never ask what will not change, right? And his answer was, what I know will not change for sure is that people are looking for lower prices on Amazon, right? People never go to say, hey, Jeff, please make the prices higher. So same thing with EAs. I can assure you that people will always look for profitable EAs, right? So I really hope you will find some more robust strategies. And my final question for you today is, what is one piece of advice you can give to everybody listening and staying with us until the end of the podcast?
Yeah, so my key advice would be to avoid manual day trading. That is kind of, I call it like a trap that a lot of people fall into, but it's very difficult. Pretty much you can compare it to gambling. So I would say, if you're going to manual trade, I would say stick to longer term swing trading. But if you want a bit more activity, then stick to automated trading strategies that have ideally decades of proven data.
That's exactly what I am doing still manually. A little bit of a swing long-term trading with stocks and crypto, and it's just easier because we don't need to check even some of the a little bit longer term trades. I don't look for days. Once you have your setup, you just forget about it. But when you're trading daily, I completely agree that you just spend too much time in front of the screens, too much stress. And at the end of the day, if you just see how much time you've dedicated and how much profits you have at the end, probably most people will end up being losing, actually, right? Which is a pity. Andreas, it was a pleasure speaking to you today. I thank you very much for flying all the way from London, and we met you with rainy days, so you feel like home. I'm really proud with everything you did. I'll keep dropping you via email some tips if I have for you, but you have a great product. I hope you will come up with more profitable EAs because that's what the community is looking for, right? Thank you very much, and all the best to you.
Thank you.
Cheers.